Hey guys, it's Janie. Welcome back to the Bookworms Buddy. It is time for my October wrap up. And that makes me very sad to say because I can't believe spook season is over. You guys know me. I love spook season and I hate when it's gone. Now it's November and October is gone and I'm just sad. But I did have a good reading month for October. So let's get started. Starting with the book Indelible by Karen Slaughter. This is book number 4 to the Grant County series. You guys know that I love the Will Trent series, which comes after this, but I already read it. Did get a little bit spoiled. I do know some things that are going to happen in this one, but that's perfectly fine. This series seems to be a little more brutal than the Will Trent series is, but I can also see how much our author has grown as a writer. It's amazing. She's a superb writer. This is a good series, just like the Will Trent series is. Just don't like it as much, but it's still good. Rated this book a 4. The next book I read was with my grandson, and it was our Halloween book. And it was a story on kids who were putting together a Halloween book in school. And we both enjoyed the story. He enjoyed it too. Great illustrations. We wanted to read a Halloween book together. This was the one that we chose, and we rated it 4 stars. The next book that I read in the month of October was Missing You by Harlan Coben. This is a mystery on an online dating site, and it was interesting. It was pretty good, but then again, I don't get very disappointed about Harlan Coben's writing. So fluid, very fast-paced. Love every book that I've read by him so far. This one was no different. Rated it 4 stars. The next book I read was with my grandson was Green Eggs and Ham. And he actually read this book to me this time, and we both enjoyed it. What kids don't like Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. So we really enjoyed the time that we got to read this one together. We rated it 4 stars. The next book that I read was Goosebumps, The Haunted Mask. This is for Richard's Goosebumps Along. The only book I could get a hold of was this one. And it was a cute story. I really enjoyed it. I think I rated this 3.5 to 4 stars. The first time I've ever read an R.L. Stine book too, so it was interesting, it was fun, I had a good time reading it. There you go. The next book that I read was The Face That Must Die, and this was by Ramsey Campbell. You guys know I was excited to read this book, and it was such a disappointment. Just, it did not have that thrill to it. I figured it was going to be a great psychological thriller. It's about this guy who is a serial killer, and yeah, it just fell flat for me. It didn't have that fast pace movement. It wasn't exciting. Our serial killer was not, that evil that you expect. He wasn't a good person, but he was just kind of boring and mundane. And yeah, I do have a video review of this, and I will link to that in the description box below. You guys can go check that out if you haven't already. I only gave this book a 2 stars. The next book that I read was Salem's Lot by Stephen King. I did this as a buddy read with Janelle, and we both really enjoyed the book a lot. After we read the book, we watched the movie. She watched the 79 version. I watched the 2004 version. And I think we decided the 2004 version was probably the better one between the two. I did see the 79 version way long time ago. I just don't remember everything that I saw in that. But anyway, back to the book. Fantastic. You guys know I love Stephen King. Salem's Lot was perfection. I rated this 5 stars. You guys know that Stephen King, if you're a Stephen King fan, he does get wordy, but that is him building up the town. That is him building up the characters, and you will remember them, and you will remember the town. And yeah, just beautifully written. Loved it. 5 stars. And next book that I read was Floor 4. This was by A. Lopez Jr. This book was part of Read Your E-Reader, and I was really stoked to read this, and it just, it was okay. It got better the further I got into the story, and it was just, these kids at this old hospital that was abandoned, and they heard that it was haunted, and they decided they were going to go in there and have a party, and the story goes on from there. It wasn't as fast paced as I thought it would be. It wasn't as creepy as I thought it would be, but I did rate it 3 stars. It was decent. I will do a separate wrap up for the Read Your E-Reader wrap up and include the challenges that go with these books. I'm just not going to do it right now. The next book that I read was The Ghost Files. This was by April Baker. This one was much better. This one was about a girl who could see ghosts and could communicate with these ghosts. That's all I'm going to tell you about this. It was a really good story. I want it to be a little bit creepier than it was, but other than that, it was fantastic. I gave it 4 stars. The next book that I read was The Graveyard Book, and this is by Neil Gaiman. Disappointed, seriously. I've heard really good things about this. My husband enjoyed the book, so I figured, well, we like a lot of the same stuff, so I'll probably enjoy this. And it's not that the writing was bad, it was just not what I expected, because, the synopsis of the book talks about the grisly murder of this child's family, and I almost just missed that. I guess I didn't pick up on the fact that these were the same parents of Bod, who is the main character of the story. So I went back and read that first chapter to help me understand it better. It just didn't have creepiness. It was just kind of slow, and yeah. So I ended up rating it 2 stars. I expected more from the story. I guess it was just not for me. I know it's got good ratings on Goodreads, but I guess it just wasn't my kind of book. Okay, the next book that I read was Roscoe the Rascal Visits the Pumpkin Patch, and this was for Read Your E-Reader, and I wanted to read this with my grandson, but the times didn't. He got sick towards the end of the month, and which means after school he did not come over. He stayed home. So we did not get that time together to read it, but I already had it for Read Your E-Reader, so I figured I would just go ahead and read it anyway. And it was such a cute story. Roscoe is a dog. He goes to the pumpkin patch with his family. It had a cute story to tell. It was just his adventures at the pumpkin patch, and I really enjoyed it. But it was really good. I ended up rating this 4 stars, and this was by Shauna Gorion. I didn't tell you that. So that is my wrap up, guys. That was 11 books that I read. Granted, there was a couple with Avery, and there was a couple of shorter books, but I wanted to get as many in October for Read Your E-Reader as I could, so I can finish up with just a few other ones in November to finish off Read Your E-Reader. What have you guys read in the month of October? Let me know in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Thanks, guys, for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.